Alright, so everyone, and welcome to the 6th episode of the Austrian campaign for Imperial Splendour 2, a mod for Empire Total War, obviously. And I know making 2 episodes back to back, crazy! But here we go, leaving off basically right where we, or continuing where we left off, more rather. That is exactly what I wanted to say. And yeah, so we captured basically the modern territory of Turkey, which is a single state in this game, similarly to France being a single state. And yeah, that's extremely balanced. And also Spain is only a single state, so you can see how well balanced this game is when it comes to the size of individual provinces, and they're still trying to blockade the single port, completely ignoring all the other ports that I have basically all over the place. But you can see quite a lot of agent activity from the Ottomans in a sense. I think they actually raided a new town that just emerged, so I'm not entirely sure if that's extremely beneficial to their cause, but we'll definitely have to try and assassinate all those various agents that they have bouncing around our newly conquered territories. And I really appreciate the Knights of St. John, or the Knights, or whatever they're called in this mod, for their continued activity in destroying the various raiders that try and disrupt our trade routes. Because, okay, here we go. Okay, so Spain has just declared war upon us, which is very non-helpful, but they're not being joined by France, which is very good, but we are joined by everyone, essentially, which is, okay, which is quite okay. Yeah, they just raided that, which is, like, I think I might have been doing something there, but I'm not entirely sure. How is this army doing? Completely replenished, so we can capture Naples, swiftly try and swing back and capture Lombardy. And since the AI doesn't really like to navally invade, War of Succession, oh there we go. I completely forgot about that event. Okay, so that's, yeah, because our king died, I think. Yeah, this is Isabel Emil. Oh, that's actually quite a good. Yeah, that's quite a good national leader to have. Okay, so if we just quickly and swiftly and decisively strike Naples, they'll accept the surrender, which is very good indeed. And now we can bring this spy up here and try. If we build up this army right here, we could try and strike Lombardy. Capture the region, obviously, or at least try to capture the region. They have some line infantry, a general, and cannons. And it's not a walled city, so this army, let's see if we take it out. They're actually reasonably happy, so if we... could we do this? It's going to take... Let's see, if we attack here... Do you have any trade routes we could assault? No. Who else is at war with Spain? I think a couple of people should be. Yeah, well, obviously the ones that we brought into this war, but Württemberg, obviously. Nobody that's really close by, but basically even Russia. They're at war with almost everyone. This is something that frequently happens when the AI plays as Spain. Or the AI plays as Spain, obviously, in every game, but unless you're playing Spain. But if the Spanish AI isn't careful, it can get dragged. Seriously, the rake that we had just... Oh, come on. So we have to take this assassin back all the way. Okay. That's really unfortunate. But Ankara stands strong. Well, reasonably strong, I guess. Is it worth doing this? Just to get the army back on top. Maybe we slam the really skilled Catholic missionary in here. to try and get, yeah, Catholicism 3%. Yeah, that's pretty good. And so the AI won't really assault Istanbul or Kaiserburg, I mean. Can we really not change the name? I thought I guess we really can't. That's a really big shame. In the newer, and I think in the newer games you can do that, but definitely in Warhammer, but I guess not in here. So if we were to attack this workshop, would that draw the army out to attack us, and then we smash it? I think it's really risky. It might be more poignant. How do they like us? Not really. Okay, that's kind of an issue. So maybe what we could do is just conundrum, but I don't think this army here is going to do anything. It's probably going to bounce around here. When they do, we'll just attack it, destroy it. Hopefully by that time, this army here is going to have enough replenishment to come back. How many units is this? 1, 2, 3, 4... 2, 3, 4, 5 actually, so they have 8 units. 5 of them are kind of trash, but only 5. Do have some dragoons though. Range is roughly the same. Better accuracy actually than the regular line infantry, which is kind of curious. But I don't like that our militia is a general. Okay, I'll leave that decision up to next turn. Maybe they'll actually be... No, okay. It's really bad. Really don't want to fight a two-front war, but yeah, that's sort of a moot point right now. Maybe we can get a really good trade agreement with the Portuguese. I thought the Portuguese were actually destroyed. I guess they came back. Military. I'm gonna have a military. Why would you want a military alliance but not a trade agreement? Like that just seems so stupid. Denmark. No, I think we're basically trading already with everyone that's at war. Russia. War with Spain. Even Poland, Lithuania, Courland. Yeah, we're already trading with everyone that's at war with Spain, which is very... It's too bad we don't have the join war button here. Become protector. Oh, come on, stop it, woman. Is it somewhere in, like, the options that I'm just not... game settings... Campaign advice, it's set to none. But... it still pops up. That's very strange. Okay, so the plan is... next turn we rebuild this. Yeah. Then, hopefully the AI does nothing. If it tries, let's see, what kind of movement do they have? No, we can't really see that. God damn it, in the newer games you can. I'm so used to just like Rome 2. I think this army has to stay here. Could maybe try an assault. That's gonna be really risky though. See, they only have one line of infantry. The journal's kind of just shit, but the artillery is a non-factor. I was hoping Savoy would be at war with them, but I guess they aren't. It's a good thing that France didn't join them. That would have been terrible for us. I guess in this sort of war of succession thing they aren't willing to, but that means that I think they lost an ally somewhere along there. So, but France is still an ally, which, you know, it was an aggressive war, so that's sort of understandable. At least these provinces should be Catholic, yeah, so... Okay, so we'll see what the army in Milan does. Even if it captures a region, the the army that we have in southern Italy should be fairly decent at completely dismantling anything that the AI tries to do. The AI really doesn't do any naval invasions ever, and since they're at war with Britain, the fact that we drag the British into this war, also helps us with the naval situation, which is quite good. But we'll see how it pans out. The Polish still doing their thing against the Prussians. Well, I don't know. It's gonna be quite a strange situation. Really don't understand how the Russians. Maybe am I allied with the Russians? Oh, Russia. Well, now I am. Good thing. I guess because we're both at war with the Ottomans and the Spanish. Really can't remember how the Spanish got into war with Russia. I guess they just did for some reason, even though I don't know. I just don't understand it. But if we actually manage to weaken Spain, that means that France will also be weaker, because the Franco-Spanish alliance is actually quite a good one to get if you're playing as either France or Spain. And then, in fact, in like the co-op campaigns, the Franco-Spanish cooperation thing is actually not completely terrible. So what did they destroy this time? Nothing substantial, I think. What did they destroy? Iron Workshop. Okay, so that's gonna decrease our monetary gain this turn, but doesn't actually matter that much. So the rake. I think we should be going after the... What are these? Eastern Scholar. Yeah, Eastern Scholars. But do they have any sort of religious figures anywhere here? I don't think so. I really don't want to... We can just smash the army, but that means that there's going to be a rebellion here. And I don't want that, so let's not bother with that. Construction report. Yeah, that's completely okay. But, okay, so the army did nothing. They didn't even recruit anything. Okay, so what we can do is repair this. And actually recruit something here. Well, I think... Getting more line infantry is going to be always good, so let's do that. So in 2 turns we can just come back. These guys still unhappy. But that should be completely fine since... Yeah. So let's start. They own anything here? No, it's just a fishery. Okay, so I guess we can just go back to Rome. Maybe even try and slowly creep our way towards Milan. We actually finish any of those ships? Did I? Yeah, I didn't even start building them. As expected, obviously. That's sort of just... This unit here has been stuck basically guarding this port, but you can see it's fairly actually effective, because it seems that the AI always goes for this port, even though we have a completely unguarded port here, here, and here, and obviously basically all around the coast. But I guess this port, maybe it's like really good. It's just a basic trading port. If they actually went for just raided this little thing instead of going directly for the port, that would have been better for them. I don't know. The AI works in mysterious ways. So, yeah. Did it change any of our ministers? No. The other one's kind of shitty. Any good army ministers? This guy's good. Minus happiness. That's not very. It's not very beneficial towards us. To our cause. It's happiness and ability, and I think that's okay. Yeah, these 2 guys are really good. Maybe the Navy? Treasury, Justice. Maybe if we switch around the Navy and the... Well, he's really good because he has this, but he also has this, so... What happens if we switch them around? How does our... That's 5, 6 is 5, 6, 6, 5. If we do this, then it's... Same thing? Okay. I guess it doesn't matter. I think... Yeah, he has one more star than him, but... Well, we have no navy either way, but... Maybe that's just a bit better. Yeah, okay. Whatever. And let's end the turn. Again, let's wait for the Spanish to do something. If they do nothing, then that's completely fine. And if we capture Milan and get a peace treaty, that's going to be really good, because we'll basically have complete control over the... Almost complete control over the entirety of the Italian peninsula. Obviously, there's still Savoy and another country there, which I'm sort of blanking on the name right now. But the fact that we managed to secure the alliance with Russia is really good, because we don't really have to fear any sort of invasion from the east, apart from the Ottomans obviously, but I mean like Eastern Europe and potentially Asia. So I'm just gonna let that army out there bounce around, because I really don't want a rebellion in Ankara right now. That would be very counterproductive, I think. And the money made from those individual buildings is really a non-fact right now, because it's... I don't know. Those seem to be underdeveloped, or just not developed at all. Quite a lot of new towns arising just as we took over, so maybe that had something to do with it. Let's see. So that was a college that actually means that this thing is actually quite happy right now. That's completely fine, so maybe we can just justify doing this. Capturing a region that has has a school or college or anything like that is actually sort of not good for you. New town emerges. Okay, that's... Yeah, that's fine. So what do they have here exactly? Can't really see. Let's try to get in. Let's try and assassinate that guy. Okay, brilliant. Brilliant. -2. Oh, come on. Are you serious? Okay, do we have any sort of militia units here? No. Actually, we do. Let's send them over there. Still unhappy. -1. What? Ugh. Okay, in you go. Because that's a decent amount of money, and I really do like that that amount of money. Okay. They actually went just really deep into this fishery, so capturing Naples was actually quite beneficial for us. Wineries, that's pretty decent. 2 wineries. Interesting. How's our economic situation? Slightly improved, not the greatest, but we have the second largest military, completely overshadowing Britain, but obviously their naval presence completely dominates our naval presence, which is a non-factor. We do not have a single ship. Denmark's actually sort of a great power due to their economic power. Bigger economic, like the smallest economic base of all the top 10 countries basically. Interesting that Spain has no enlightenment. Uncultured fools. Yep. So Poland and Lithuania is not even here, which is interesting since they're basically going 1v1. Well, not really, because Sweden's also at war with Russia, but I think there actually is no combat here because AI never does naval invasions. Like ever. And okay, so let's see what kind of military they have. They actually have a very elite military. Let's check on the Polish. No Polish armies here, but let's go towards Königsberg. Okay, so one more turn, we have some sort of army ready for that then, and we can actually take Milan. So that's gonna be fine, and let's get those wineries going. Yeah, that should be okay. Anything else we need to develop or build or something? No. No. We can build something here. A church. Not a church. Just to get the Catholicism going even faster. I don't really want to repair the college. That's going to be very counterproductive. The drill school, doesn't do much. We can get some native units, some colonial cavalry. Imperial line infantry. Now that sounds fun. Does it have any like better stats? 145. These guys have 140. So the Imperial line infantry is actually much better than our regular line infantry. Not entirely sure that's Let's just build a church so the conversion is much faster. Yeah, that's gonna be okay. Even though the conversion should be just... How old is this guy, by the way? 83 years old. This guy's gonna die in like 3 turns. Or maybe just next turn. Superior General. This guy's a Superior General, okay. So, I didn't really have to plan anything ahead because of Spanish or the game event. No, I think you don't really have to declare war as Spain if you get that event. Never really played with a co-op campaign with a Spanish and an Austrian player, but I don't think the either of those players like really has to declare war. It's just sort of a mute event. But it's sort of neat that they introduced that. I don't really think. Maybe it was in the base game. But in the base game, usually, I don't know, if you're not playing Austria or Spain, that this war is just like a non-issue. Because, like, neither of these factions really, like the Austrians don't really have a navy by this point in the game, because, you know, very early, so they're not going to be contesting any sort of Spanish trade routes or their sort of colonies or anything like that. And the Spanish are too far away to really do anything land-wise against the Austrians, unless the Austrians have anything or something in northern Italy. So, and the Austrians in general in Empire Total War just die. So I don't know. Savoy is doing something. Savoy was, or that was actually Genoa, I think. Yeah, that's Genoa. So I don't know. Let's try this. Still not building anything. Okay, let's save before we do anything, because we can. You're all familiar with how auto results can go. Surrender refuse. Can we do this? 100, 130. Goodness. Okay, let's take this to the battlefield just to be sure. Okay, so it's a fairly flat terrain, which can be a good or a bad thing either way, but I don't know, their artillery, since we're completely just facing in a very different direction than our artillery is pointed, we should be completely fine. I want to check out these militia guys. They actually look fairly nice, but I do think that's a model from the base game of some sort of British unit. I think, not entirely sure, but it does seem that way. I think I've seen that face before. So I know. Well, it's gonna be kind of questionable how we're actually going to be able to use our cavalry effectively. So let's try and get them there. Let's try and speed up this process. Very, very dodgy that our general is a militia unit, but hopefully it's going to be completely fine. I really like this banner. It's so nice. Okay, so that's the flag of Hungary. It's 2 cross. It's Bohemia. I think that's Galicia. It could also be Austria. Could be Austria. No, Austria is this one, I think. That's sort of the Habsburg flag. So I guess this entire thing is the flag of Austria or the general thing. But not exactly all the provinces. There are no states represented. That's definitely true. Let's toggle guard mode. Unit group, okay, that's sort of strange, that's sort of different, but since we are the attacking army, we really have to go forward and try and do something here. So they have left their flank only protected by firelock armed citizenry, so we can use that to our great benefit by slamming into it with our dragoons. which is going to be quite effective, I think. But first, I think we're just going to take out the artillery, since this is such a this is one big reason why artillery in Empire Total War is just terrible, because early on, when it could actually make some sort of difference, it's completely negligible, due to the fact that a majority of early game artillery is just sort of static, and in the late game you can just, I don't know, you can circumvent it by just having a lot of armies if you're playing a campaign. And in multiplayer, the artillery is, I don't know, I've never, like, when I actually used to play this game like hardcore every day, you know, multiplayer wise, I never found a proper way to use artillery because of the ineffectiveness. In Napoleon, it's a very different story. In Napoleon, the artillery is very good. So, what? Wait, what? Could you? Are you serious? Whoa, Empire Total War, what a great... What happened here? Are you serious? So I'm just playing without cavalry because the game fucked me over. Okay, fucking great. We have to rush forward. I really needed this cavalry. Could you just not? Could you just not? Oh my goodness. Why? Could at least do this? Could at least use these guys? Okay, that's just brilliant, you know? Just welcome to Empire Total War. Fuck. Okay, whatever. I think we should be able to just nicely dominate this this battle, because those are just Firelog armed citizenries, and they do not have fire by rank, whereas we do. So let's just wait this one out for a little while. Actually, these guys aren't in range. Let's put them in range, so we can actually shoot. That's something that will greatly benefit us if they could actually shoot. Yeah, that's sort of an important factor when you're playing a gun-focused Total War game. But I think, yeah, really didn't have to be so worried about the outcome of this battle. But this, like, there was nothing I could do really to prevent this, right? Like, I figured they would go like this or like this, but why? Okay, whatever. I guess we control that building now. Hey, it's really gonna help us in the effort of doing anything. Just march forward a bit then. These guys actually took some heavy damage. Okay then. Well. Well, anyway. We do not have a cavalry division, or segment battalion, I suppose. Whatever. Still, I don't know. That's sort of a strange occurrence. Never really happened to me before. Maybe it's just very specific to the mod. Maybe it always counts dragoons as an infantry unit. But even with infantry, if you move through, like, around a building, doesn't automatically slam your guys into the building, you know what I mean? So, I don't know, it's sort of strange, but hey, there we go. Okay, so let's speed this up, because as we already established in the last video, these battles can take a very long time. And for some reason, these guys decided to get... That's one thing I really despise about these various mods trying to make the game... like trying to rebalance the game or whatever. They make the Firelong, the like very weak units have longer ranges. Like I get it, it's supposed to like balance them out, but that's just rebalancing in these like the various mods that try to rebalance the game tend to just make it just completely cringeworthy. So let's just charge these guys in. Those firelocks really shouldn't be able to put up any sort of kind of resistance. Great charge, guys. Really can just go down the slope, but you know, I have to go like this. I knew that was gonna happen. I wouldn't have sent you to charge. Look at this. Oh yes, the finest charge ever. And there we go. I'm not just having a bunch of fun with this, but this thing actually really pissed me off. Like genuinely, that's just not fun, because now the artillery or whatever is just gonna shoot at this building and make me lose 50% of my cavalry just because the game decided that's the way it should work. Okay, let's charge these guys in because they have no ammo left. And these guys are actually taking heavy casualties, so let's shift them around. Okay, made those guys run. Let's just charge in those guys because there's no point in not charging them in. Let's form square, even though whatever. And maybe we should actually try this tactic of just charge again. Apparently it's not working that terribly well, but it's working reasonably well, and that's can't really hunt them down, so let's just end the battle. Heroic victory. That was some victory. Okay, so we lost roughly 200, which is a little bit more than I would have liked. Obviously, if we had the cavalry support actually supporting, then that would have been, you know, a much lower number. But we actually managed to lose 2 of those guys somehow. Not entirely sure how we managed to do that, but hey, that's all fun and games, I suppose. So now the Spanish really do not have a way to attack us. Maybe if they went through Sardinia, but that's very unlikely. Because they have no army here, and the AI, as I said like 5 times already, they really do not intend to invade navally. But since we own this region, might as well just build it up, replenish these guys, whatever. What do we do here? Artillery, we're not gonna use that at all, though it's a pretty good investment overall. Okay, so you might want to repair this drill school actually. I'm not gonna repair the college. This is really damaged. It's gonna have 3,000. I'm not really gonna invest that into. Yeah, that's the artillery building, obviously. This guy. Let's try and kill this 6%. Hey, never successful with those guys. But there's actually a Persian army here. So hey, the Persians are actually doing something, but not anything very useful. You can see that they're not sieging Baghdad. They're obviously doing nothing against Armenia, which is not the best outcome for our situation, but yeah, whatever. Yeah, sure, whatever, that's gonna be okay. They aren't too unhappy with the overall situation, so that's okay. Still making 6,000, that's alright. These guys reasonably happy. Are we exempting anyone? No, not really. Neither Milan. I think they should be fine. Once this gets prepared, that's +1 to repression. Also, over time that obviously goes down. At least they're Catholic. That's that's very beneficial to us. -1% to campaign movement range. Man, these minus percentages to campaign movement ranges are really good. I mean, really bad. Trencherman, full fat, and okay, so he's fat and he's 83, so his health isn't probably the best around here, but he still somehow managed to get to 83. I mean, that's just have to give it to the guy. He's trying, you know, he's trying his best, even though, you know, it's sort of shoddy, but it's still his best, so gotta give it to him. Yeah, let's just send it to the college, whatever. Right, really surprised that Rome wasn't as rebellious. I really thought Rome was going to give us a lot of trouble, but I guess because we're Catholic, maybe that plays a role, actually. That would be interesting if being Catholic and owning Rome would actually give you some sort of benefit, but it doesn't in this game, or in any Total War game, really, that has, like, the Catholic function thing in it. Maybe in Attila, when you have, like, Latin Christianity, but I don't think so. I really don't think so. Though that would be interesting. Okay, so what do we do now? Okay, let's try to get peace with Spain. Because... no. Well, I mean... yeah, they still just wanted alliance. Maybe that wouldn't have been too bad, just to get an alliance with Persia. But they're a very weak faction, and taking them out... because they'll give us Iceland for Hungary. How about no? Okay, how about no? Hanover, hey, that would be... no. Actually, Hanover still living is a giant surprise, because they usually just die. They aren't even... they're a protector of Westphalia. Okay, so that explains things. So Westphalia somehow has managed to have both Hanover and Norway as their protectorates. Did they start off with that sort of stuff in the beginning of the game? I'm not entirely sure, but that's a very good deal if they do. Because we are researching platoon firing. These guys are doing their stuff. Maybe division of labor would be okay. -1 happiness. Ugh. Really do not want -1 happiness, because Balkans are gonna explode again. We don't really want that. But that's gonna mean that we make very little money overall. Is there anything that improves, like, happiness in general? No, but we should really repair this classical university. Okay, so let's save up some cash. Let's repair that. Forgot about checking those Prussian and Polish armies. So that's unfortunate, but yeah, so now we have a firm grip over Italy, which was actually quite easy. All things considered, the initial invasion was difficult because of the little nations that have built up their militaries. But actually, that's one thing that's very interesting about the Total War games, is that fighting minor nations is sometimes much more difficult than fighting major nations, because major nations leave a lot of their provinces unprotected, so you can grab a lot of provinces or states, whatever, cities, and peace out with them in the span of 2 turns. Whereas fighting minor nations, they're never gonna give in, because they at most have 2 provinces, but both of those provinces have like 3 stacks in them, at least in the higher difficulties. And lower difficulties, especially in Napoleon, this was like very present. They just have like 2 full stack armies of elite troops just smashed in their capital province, and actually fighting them was so expensive due to the amount of losses that you would take, that quite often it was just much more beneficial to not even bother with them and just go about your day. Okay, so we had the letters of demand, so now we have to accept them from taxation, which is only 100 whatevers. So, okay, general died, this guy. Very unfortunate, but we can recruit a general here, so that's okay. Is it worth having a general? Could be. Prussia and Denmark. Okay, so Prussia is... that's very ballsy. Because now, yeah, I did war with Russia as well. Oh my goodness, Prussia, what are you doing? What are you doing? Why are you doing this to yourself? I really wanted that late game sort of war of German brotherhood, something like that. Like German Brothers War straight up from Victoria 2. But I guess we're not having that anymore, because you're just gonna die. You're just gonna die, and that's gonna be the end of you. This guy's reasonably happy, so repairing the classical university. Oh, -6. Oh, Jesus Christ, okay. Maybe not. National prestige. Very unhappy because education, tax, just tax, and food shortages, 0%. Wow. I really see how that would make you unhappy. 0%? I mean, that's just... Yeah, that's really taxing on that, Oh, Orthodox Islam. Okay, so we didn't build any sort of church around here. You would think that sort of naturally they would start becoming more Catholic by being integrated into the empire for like 30 years at this point, but no. So okay then. Okay then. Let's try again with this guy. 6% again. He's very agent executed, as was expected, but at this point, hey, what can you do? So let's start to Jesuit College. +1 happiness, so that's fairly okay. Repairing this is -5. We could just go for the happiness. That's completely annihilated. That's another church, so same thing. It's just more expensive. Wait, so what's... Does it like add +1 I think it adds +1 happiness, yeah. And maybe... No, actually it doesn't. It just converts them faster. That's not very beneficial to us. Not at all? Okay, so I guess this seminary is why they are happy with our rule here. Yes, that's gonna repair. Maybe actually we just disband this the militia unit there because we do not need it. And that should be that. Let's see, how expensive is this to repair? Sick. 7,500. Okay, let's wait a turn. That army from Anatolia is gonna be stuck there for a little while until we do something. That maybe actually let's actually bring the army from Greece to deal with them. It's sort of sketchy because no, actually DA never invade, so even if they do, we'll just take over the rest of the territory. So let's actually send over the army from Greece to help out in against the Ottomans. Yeah, I think it's gonna be completely okay. Even though it's a lot of militia in that army though, so I don't know if that's beneficial. Maybe also let's take the army from northern Italy and merge it with the one in Rome. Though, since we're at war with the Spanish have some provinces in the Mediterranean, we should try and take over those provinces, eh? That could be okay. It's also the worry of just the ever-present naval dominance of our opponents, because the Ottomans have a decent navy, but the Spanish have a really good navy, so that plan's probably never gonna work. I was really hoping that Savoy would enter on the side of, or do something against the Spanish, but guess not. But Genoa was doing something. What was Genoa at war with? Okay, so they're doing something with the full stack. It appears they're going against England, or Britain, more rather. So, let's check. Okay, very good. So let's check Genoa. Towards the Barbary states and pirates. So why is there a full stack army here? Which, you know, those are actually very decent troops to be bringing. German regiment. So this is an Austrian regiment, this is a German regiment. Is there any sort of difference? It's light infantry. Okay, so their accuracy is trash. So they probably just have better numbers in their army. That could explain quite a lot, actually. Yeah, these militia here aren't going to be doing anything, like realistically. So, how about doing something with this army here? I'm not confident enough, because I really think that the moment we do anything here, It's just gonna cause a lot of problems. Let's just actually start recruiting a new army. Imperial line for 3 turns, really? 3 turns to get... I suppose they're really good. 120 though. Our regular line of infantry is 150. So, should we start doing this? They cost 1,900. Our regular line of infantry costs... Actually, we should probably start doing something like this, but 1,500 roughly. Maybe more beneficial just to get a bunch from here. They do have higher stats, but upkeep cost is like 275. These guys have an upkeep cost of 223. They're better, but they take one more turn. I don't know. That's sort of a conundrum. So maybe actually I'll just start building up some forces here. Take these guys from Greece, send them towards Istanbul. Slowly but surely start making another army. Maybe even as a replacement for the one in Anatolia to keep up the happiness in the city at a relatively manageable level, so that we can actually do stuff in other provinces, or just all around the map in general. So these guys, we accept them last turn, right? So we can go back to taxing them now. Playing as Knights of St. John might actually be an interesting campaign, but I do think their sort of choice of military units isn't exactly the best thing ever. I'm really like not doing anything with this, so it might be better just to burn it down, but I really do not want to. Let's just set it here. At some point I am going to repair this probably, and I really can't imagine what else I would build. So it's just everything is so expensive in this mod. I really don't think that some sort of colonial imperial unit should cost 2,000. I don't think they did. In fact, I think that I'm actually quite sure that colonial troops were much worse in the base game and much cheaper in the base game compared to this mod. And 3 turns for... Since they're more expensive, should I really take 3 turns? They aren't on the same level as guards, not even close, and our guard troops do take 2 turns. That's interesting. So you can see how the balancing. Maybe it's just the Austrian troops being that way. Maybe you just have to balance. Sort of, maybe you're just in a bad position. Maybe you're just a bad faction, basically. Haven't really played as Austria. Again, why did but I haven't really played as Austria in this mod ever before. As I said, like way back in the first episode, like last time I played this was basically when Empire was relatively new, basically right before Napoleon came out, so roughly 2010. And yeah, really don't remember Austria at all. So Genoa is just doing something, whatever they are. Maybe they're going against Denmark. That could be an interesting invasion. Just sort of a migratory. Okay, so now they're happy. It's just sort of a migratory position that they find themselves in. Theater. I know about that one. I don't know about that one, Chief. Are they still happy? -1 though. So if we recruit 3 turns. Really? 1 turn to get irregulars though. This army could do some stuff. Maybe we can replace the militia in this army. Yeah, quite a bit of militia with some line infantry from that's recruiting here. And then we can just do some stuff with that. Actually, observatory, yep, should have repaired it long ago. But because that's going to be repaired, I think we have sort of a justification to Since they're going to be reasonably happy, we can reinforce with that army. Yep, we can have a reasonable argument to just go forth. But I really think... Let's repair this college, finally. And yeah, with this army we can reinforce this thing, the city, and bring up the happiness levels, because it's only -1. The fact that we do this is going to be +2, so that's +1, that's -4. There's going to be a whole bunch of army in here, so that's going to be a whole bunch of extra stuff. So we can send them here, swipe up the militia, use the militia in here, continue the conquest with Starhemberg, our mighty general, and do some stuff there. This is even good. So this... Oh, wait, what? Okay, I click on this. Like by accident. -1. Okay, we can, I think, have a pretty decent reason to do that. We'll see how it plays out. Ability, management, treasury, administration. Who was that? That was Walter Lenz. Okay, this guy. I mean, whatever. Tactician. +1. Doesn't help. None of them are really interesting. And we can trade with Hanover. Let's try again. No. How about that peace, Spain? No. Well, whatever. You started a war, so... how about a peace and a trade agreement? No. Okay, then. I see how it is. Unacceptable. Not gonna get peace with the Ottomans, because they betrayed us last time. So, let's not do that. Again, they want some strange provinces for their trade agreement, so let's not deal with that. And yeah, so this can be completely okay, I think. I don't know. We'll have to see how things pan out, but ultimately, after conquering the Ottomans, we might have to go through a rampage across Africa to get to Spain. Is it even viable? It could be, because if we send any sort of army like through the Mediterranean, that's gonna be very expensive, because we obviously have to build up some sort of navy to do that. Two, even if we build up that navy, there's no guarantee that the navy's gonna win against the already established Spanish navy. And three, by conquering Africa, we do have a pretty decent base. So hey, let's scramble for Africa 100-something years earlier. So. Okay, so Anatolia, yep, they're very unhappy, but now what we can do is send these guys here to there. Still unhappy? Really? With... Okay, I call bullshit, but... Okay, so... Yep, still unhappy. I see how it is. It's gonna be really, like, not really good, but... Okay, now they're okay. Send these guys here. Detach these guys. Join up and just, I know, let's do something like this. And these guys can go there, and these guys can go... What do we want? Do we want Armenia? Do we want the Levant? Let's go for the Levant, because that's a much richer territory. I could do the movement glitch here and just run around the entire thing, but I don't really want to do that. sort of very gamey. And I think that's okay for this episode. Nothing really much to do other than this. Managed to completely dominate the Italian peninsula. Could build up this, obviously. Yeah, that could be useful. Also, the military governor's barracks could be okay. But, yeah, so we managed to dominate the entirety of the Italian peninsula, which is fairly beneficial to our overall cause, obviously. Which, how close are we to the objective? Roughly halfway, with only 30% of the campaign done. That's actually fairly okay. Once we are done with the Ottomans, that's gonna be an additional 5. So, yeah, we're gonna be more than halfway done. Probably gonna have to go through Africa, which that's gonna, you know, by the time we do all this, we probably are gonna be doing a bunch of stuff here as well. Possibly going after Genoa. Do we have any allies? Genoa. Spain. Well, okay then. So we might want to take up Genoa eventually. It's gonna be a tough fight though. But yeah, so I think the overall plan in the foreseeable future, I'm gonna try to somehow scramble to get like a, I don't know, do we have a port anywhere here? We have a port in here, but that's very limited capability to say the least. But if we get some ships here, we might be able to just quickly hop on over to Sardinia, take that over. Once that's done, might want to think about taking out Genoa and then taking out Corsica. So having Sardinia, Corsica, and Genoa, sort of establishing a protective base in the central. Yeah, sort of a central Mediterranean base of operations if we ever wanted to launch a naval invasion. But the fact that we already have this province here, it's going to be decent. We'll have to see whether we go for the African strategy or the island hopping strategy, because from Sardinia it's sort of a reasonably short while to get to Spain. So we might want to directly invade Spain. What we could also do is just actually, no, they aren't that rich. That's not a very good province. So we might want to, we could either go for Savoy and Genoa, which I don't think Savoy really needs any more troubles. You're rolled with 6 nations, really. That's a very curious ally to have. Actually, is anything going down in America? No. So the British haven't really been fighting against the Spanish here, at least land-wise. They're probably having a lot of naval engagements all over the place, but that's no concern of mine at the moment. So I think it could be, but you know, either after we dominate the Ottomans or before that, at some point, we'll capture Sardinia definitely. And that's gonna be that. So I think that's when I actually start off the next episode. Yeah, so episode 7 is gonna be us dominating the Ottomans, obviously, and then doing something in Sardinia. So, yeah, well, thank you guys for watching, and see you next time.